In the frozen silence of a forgotten lake, an old woman sets out to fulfill her husband's final wish. But when a single gunshot shatters the peace, she's dragged into a nightmare no one could ever imagine: a kidnapped child, a deadly couple, and a storm that swallows every hope of escape. This is the story of how one grieving widow became the only line between innocence and unthinkable evil. And in a place where the cold kills faster than bullets, courage is the only thing that can keep them alive. The story begins with an old woman named Barb. After her husband's death, she sets out on a journey to bury his ashes in the lake he once told her about. Along the way, she is caught in a severe snowstorm and loses her way. When she steps out of her vehicle to check the route, she hears a strange voice calling out. Following the sound, she reaches a house. A car is parked outside. Inside the car lies a gun with blood splattered around it. Something about this place feels dangerously wrong. A man steps out and asks, "What do you want? Why are you here?" Barb answers innocently, "I used to come here often with my husband. I just lost my way to the lake and came to ask for directions." The man shows her the route, and when she asks about the blood, he claims it is from an animal he hunted for food. Ignoring these signs, Barb continues her journey and finally arrives at Lake Hilda, the lake she and her husband visited often. Standing by the lake, she remembers the moments she shared with him. She sits quietly, then retrieves her husband's ashes, preparing to bury them. But before she can do anything, she hears a gunshot. Running toward the sound, she sees a man shooting at a young girl trying to escape. Horrified, Barb rushes back to her Jeep, but her phone has no signal. Barb knows there's only one house in this area. She realizes the girl must have been kidnapped and taken there. She approaches the cabin, checks all doors, and finds them locked. Through the basement window, she sees the terrified girl. Before Barb can talk to her, 2 cars pull up a couple steps out and enters the house. Listening carefully, Barb realizes the wife is the one who ordered her husband to kidnap the girl. Her suspicion is now confirmed. Barb writes a message on the window. "I won't leave you." Then she leaves quietly. Meanwhile, Clara comes near the basement to check on the girl and finds Barb's gloves and the message written on the window. Furious, she confronts her husband, David. He tells her an old woman had come earlier asking for directions, nothing more. Clara instantly realizes that this old woman has become a threat. She picks up her gun and tells David, "We need to eliminate her." They assume Barb is hiding near the fishing deck. Clara points her gun toward the deck, and David heads toward the door. Suddenly, he crashes through the ice. Barb had hollowed out the ice beforehand and was watching from a distance. David is drowning in the freezing water, and Clara rushes to save him. Barb uses this moment to run back to the cabin and break into the basement. In the process, she slips and falls down the stairs. She quickly gets up, removes the tape from the girl's mouth, and frees her. But escaping won't be easy. Before taking the girl, Barb wants to ensure the couple is incapacitated. She goes upstairs, extinguishes the fire, keeping the house warm, opens all windows and doors to let the cold in, and wets all the blankets so David and Clara will freeze. Just as she is about to return to the basement, a bullet grazes her hand. Clara saw her. Barb sprints toward her car, but the engine is frozen solid. The pain of the gunshot is unbearable. She scoops ice and presses it onto her wound to freeze it and numb the pain. Then she returns to the fishing deck and finds David's gun containing a single bullet. Meanwhile, David and Clara, after seeing the freezing house, realize Barb has sabotaged everything. The house is now too cold for a normal person to survive. David is soaked and weak, so Clara puts him inside the car for warmth. David is barely able to stand. Clara insists they must finish their mission tonight. "Set up near the lake. I can't miss the surgeon's appointment in the morning." Here, their true intention becomes clear. Clara kidnapped the girl because she wanted to take her liver. Clara herself is sick and needs a liver transplant. She chose this remote location because no one comes here, the environment is germ-free, and she wouldn't need a full surgical setup. After taking the girl's liver, they planned to throw her body into the river so the police would never find evidence. They load the girl into the car, but David notices his gun is missing. Clara slaps him violently, furious at his carelessness. David goes to the lake to set things up, while Clara watches through binoculars. Suddenly, she hears her car leaving. As she returns to the house, she sees the basement empty. The girl is gone. In the basement, Barb treats her own wound using various tools, and then emerges, determined to rescue the child. David's car is locked, so she breaks the window with a hammer and gets inside. Using the car radio, she tries to call the police, but before she can finish, Clara catches her, drags her out, and strikes her leg with the hammer. Barb escapes, grabs David's gun, and aims it at him. David pleads, "Don't kill me. I'm not doing anything wrong. My wife is forcing me." He claims they chose this girl because she had attempted suicide many times and didn't want to live. His wife needs a liver, and he is only helping her. David then admits he is sick and needs medical help. Barb tells him, "If you're a good man, you'll go to the police and report your wife first." David agrees, gives Barb the ring she dropped earlier at Lake Hilda, offers extra bullets, and drives away. But before he reaches the hospital, Clara stops his car. Gun in hand, she demands, "Where were you going?" David cries, "I'm very ill." Clara says he should have come to her. David confesses, "I can't support you. This is all a crime. Do you think the surgeon will hide it? He'll ask where you got the liver." Clara breaks down and starts crying as blood drips from her nose. Meanwhile, Barb loads the extra bullets into her gun. She takes out an old photograph of herself with her husband, taken when she was pregnant. Her child had died before birth. She stares at her old pickup truck, the same truck she shared her entire life with her husband. But now, survival is more important. She ignites the truck, using the smoke to draw help. Two men arrive, the same men she contacted on the radio. Barb tells them everything. They find her story strange but ask for her gun. She hands it over. They approach Clara's car with weapons drawn, but suddenly someone shoots them from behind. The men fall into a trap. Clara steps out and tries to shoot Barb. Barb hides behind the dashboard, opens the glove box, finds her gun, and fires at Clara, hitting her leg. Barb runs toward the cabin and finds David's car wrecked. The sight devastates her. At that moment, Clara regains control and aims her gun at Barb. Barb hides inside a shed. Clara fires repeatedly, causing the shed to collapse. Barb is knocked unconscious. Hours later, Barb wakes up in the basement, the same place the kidnapped girl was held. The girl says softly, "I don't want to die." Barb asks her name. The girl says, "Leah." Barb smiles. "What a lovely name. If we had a daughter, I would have named her that too." Barb then tells Leah about her great-grandfather, who was once trapped in a deadly blizzard with fellow soldiers. Many died, but he kept moving, knowing that stopping meant freezing to death. His determination saved him, and because of that, Barb exists today. She tells Leah, "We don't know what will happen to us, but we must fight. We must keep trying." Barb frees herself, gives Leah a pair of large boots, and tries to open the basement door. After hours, she succeeds. But just as they step outside, Clara locks them back inside. Shortly after, Clara drags both of them toward the lake, tying them up. Barb is forced to carry heavy luggage. Clara sets up a surgical tent and orders Barb to tie Leah to the operating table. Barb notices Clara's leg bleeding heavily and warns her she'll lose too much blood. Clara ignores her. She opens a box, revealing a liver transplant kit. Clara then forces Barb to tape Leah's mouth and limbs. After Barb complies, Clara shoots her and then begins marking Leah's abdomen for surgery. Suddenly, Barb rises again, attacks Clara from behind, and tries to save Leah. Clara overpowers her. Their struggle knocks over a lamp, setting the tent ablaze. They fight outside as the tent collapses. The gun falls, and both scramble for it. A bullet fires into the lake. Clara grabs the gun again, but it's empty. Enraged, she smashes the gun across Barb's head, leaving her bleeding. Meanwhile, the burning tent collapses around Leah, but she manages to escape and staggers into the snow. She picks up Clara's gun and shoots Clara, leaving her writhing in pain. Leah then ties Barb's unconscious body to Clara's leg and pushes both into the frozen lake, believing Barb is dead. But Barb is still alive. As she sinks into the icy water, she opens the box containing her husband's ashes, the ashes she carried throughout her journey. She releases them into the water, fulfilling his final wish. She then closes her eyes, allowing herself to sink. Barb dies, and Clara dies with her. Leah survives. Now alone, she must escape this dangerous place on her own. The movie ends here.